Speaking Truth to Power. In the last several episodes, we've been talking to you about the various dimensions of truth and power and how do you speak it to power as individuals. Today, we're going to talk and continue this conversation with LT Jayachandran and Anand Pillai and say, as a community, how do you speak truth to power? Because God, LT, and correct me if I'm wrong, didn't just create us to be as individuals, but created us as a community, and He spoke to community. So what's that force that brings us together as a community to respond as one voice towards the various things that happen around us?
Yes, I think we did touch upon this in one of our earlier episodes, that when God created us, He created us male and female. When He creates us, when He calls Abraham, He makes him a nation. And Jesus says, I'll build my church. And church is not a building, church is people. And I was even referring to Anand Pillai talking about his being born again. When we are born into a family of God. We are not born into a vacuum. And of course, we also saw that God Himself is a divine community. So part of His being made in the image of God for us means that the community is central. And we also, both of us, mentioned about the paucity of songs which express that corporateness. In fact, I've even noticed that even when we sing this I songs, whenever the worship leader intervenes, he, she prays us.
Yes.
But the singing is I.
Yes.
But the praying is we.
Yes.
So I think we need to have some more we singing.
Yes.
I think that is one of the things that would emphasize. And of course, I also mentioned from Abraham's call that we are called to be a blessing to the nations.
To the nations, yeah.
Yes.
You know, as much as we need this we singing, I bet we need this we thinking as well.
Yes.
You spoke about the church, you spoke about the nation. And I'm not sure it's the right question, but I'm sure that's a question in the minds of our viewers too. Which comes first as a membership, nationality, nation, or church?
Well, it depends on the context in which you are asking. I mean, if you are asking my citizenship, from a paper point of view, my citizenship is India. So I'm an Indian. But if you ask me from a life point of view, my citizenship is in heaven. I'm an Indian. I'm an Indian who believes in the Lord Jesus Christ, and that is the way I would like to put it.
So where would a person's first allegiance be towards?
I don't know whether you can even have a first, second kind of an idea. Because there is a bit, this is a question because it talks about as if it is an either or situation.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me go a little further. For me, patriotism is commitment to the nation, keeping the law of the land, and being a tax-paying citizen, to as much as possible to look after the interests of the poor and the oppressed.
Okay.
Now, for example, day before yesterday, my wife and I went and saw this movie, Sanju. I mean, brilliantly made movie. And we all stood up for the national anthem.
Okay.
Now, that's a very powerful symbol. But now, the symbol should express an inward reality. It can also be a substitute for an inward reality. I can be cheating on taxes and then flying the national flag in my house.
Okay.
That will not do. Now, where the Christian faith comes in is that my commitment to Christ helps me to be a better Indian, because it feeds into the moral requirement of being a patriotic Indian. See, when Jesus said, love your enemies, He did not mean that we should go and hug them and kiss them. What He meant was, we should be in such an emotional state that we can pray for them. In fact, I sent out a WhatsApp message to a limited group of people. I said, you cannot pray for those whom you hate, and you cannot pray for those whom you fear. And so I must make it very clear in my mind that I do not hate any one of my fellow citizens of India, whatever the position they hold, because if I hate them, I cannot pray for them. So my commitment to my country as a Christian is also to pray for its citizens,
Sure.
including those with whom I do not agree.
Absolutely. So
In fact, I take that as my duty to God. The God I worship, the God of the Bible, does not just say that I should abide by the law and pay the taxes and all that. He goes one step further. I have a responsibility to pray for the government.
Okay.
I have a responsibility to lift up holy hands without judgment.
Okay.
and pray for the nation. For what? For their well-being, so that they have wisdom to run the affairs.
Easier said than done, because many a time we see that, hey, it's easier for me to pray for my fellow citizens. Okay, I don't know them.
No, pray
I'm
for
not
the
affected.
government, those in authority.
Yes, I would certainly love to pray. As I said, easier said than done. But sometimes, what happens when I'm not seeing eye to eye with those situations?
You know, the whole understanding that I do not allow my emotions to be conditioned so negatively that I find it difficult to pray. I mean, that's a discipline that we have to bring ourselves to. Therefore, it's not just paying tax. I totally agree with you on that. It means we go the second mile, and exactly that's what Jesus said. You pray for those who persecute
Yes.
you, which means that you do not hate them, neither do you fear them.
You know, that's a very powerful thing. Look at it this way. I don't know how you have been praying or how you have been responding to the things around you, but from what we've heard and learned today, I think it is really, as Anand said, our responsibility, our duty to pray for those in power. Because if you don't pray for someone in power, how can you talk to them? On that note, we want to say goodbye to you for today. We're going to be right back with another episode. So stay tuned, and thank you for joining us today.